Welcome to This Week from Blue Mountain Broadcasting. I'm your host, Lynelle Ellis, and very glad that you've tuned in for the show today. I'm going to be talking with the city administrator for the city of College Place, Mike Rizzitiello. And I know you'll enjoy that conversation, getting some updates about what's going on here in the city of College Place and in our area. And also, I have very, very important things to tell you during our station news. In fact, I'll give you a little hint right now that we have a very urgent matter, an emergent situation that I need to talk with you about. So please stay tuned to the end of the program for that. And we will begin, as we usually do, with our devotional thought. I promised you that we would be looking at some devotionals related to Advent over the next several weeks. After all, we are in that season. And once again today, I would like to share with you a devotional written by Mary Sutherland. Mary writes for crosswalk.com. I can almost say that, crosswalk.com. And I would really like to share this devotional with you today. It's based around this passage, Luke 2:16 through 20. So they hurried off and found Mary and Joseph and the baby who was lying in the manger. When they had seen him, they spread the word concerning what had been told them about this child. And all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds said to them. But Mary treasured up all these things and pondered them in her heart. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all the things they had heard and seen, which were just as they had been told. Now here's the devotional, and this is Mary speaking here, Mary Sutherland, who wrote the devotional. According to the American Institute of Stress, more than 110 million Americans take medication for stress-related reasons each week. During the holiday season, another 1 million people battle what experts refer to as the holiday blues. I am very familiar with depression, says Mary, and the pain it holds and must constantly battle to stay out of that pit. To deal with depression, we must first come to a place of total surrender to God and His plan of healing, even if we cannot see or understand that plan. The bottom line of God's heart toward His children is always restoration and healing. While I'm not a big fan of television, I do enjoy watching home improvement shows. On a recent program, an interior decorator and homeowner were discussing a list of changes that needed to be made in order to update the home. First, we have to do something about those windows, the decorator announced. I was surprised that she listed that task first, until I saw the house. The existing glass was not only an ugly shade of gold, but it was thick and chunky as well. The windows let in no light and made it virtually impossible to see in or out. The result was a dark, isolated home. The distressed homeowner protested, "But I like my privacy, and if I thought anyone could see in, I would feel totally exposed." When it comes to dealing with depression, many people feel the same way. We construct walls over which no one can climb because the cost of friendship is too high. We fill the windows of our soul with emotional excuses in order to avoid dealing with pain. The result is darkness, loneliness, and missed opportunities for restoration. We don't want to understand depression or find the treasures of that darkness. We simply want to be rid of it. Many people try to understand and deal with depression on a surface level, refusing to face painful experiences, difficult relationships, and the broken places where darkness lives. We look for the nearest exit, hoping to bypass transparency because the price is just too high to pay. Emotional integrity is an essential step to dealing with depression. We must be real before we can be right. Until we are willing to risk being transparent, we can neither understand nor effectively deal with depression during the holidays or any other time of the year. The holidays seem to tug at the masks we carefully hold in place and push the emotional buttons we desperately try to hide. The arrival of certain family members can resurrect painful issues that have never really been resolved. The financial pressures open up like a sinkhole, waiting to steal our joy and destroy our peace. And schedules demand every ounce of energy, and false expectations leave us empty and hollow. The dark, slimy pit waits for us to fall in. We can choose to make this Christmas different. Choose to give God praise. Choose to focus on victories and joys, the ones we've experienced during the year, and then find ways to share that victory and joy with others. Christmas can be a true celebration of fresh starts and new beginnings if we choose to focus on a tiny baby born in a manger, come to save us and give us true life. The darkness can be destroyed if we choose to face and deal with whatever it holds. Right now, choose an attitude of joy by focusing your mind on the things of heaven, not earth, and by fixing your heart on Jesus Christ. Your Christmas chaos will turn into Christmas joy. And then she offers a prayer that we can pray together. Father, we want this holiday season to be filled with light instead of darkness. Please help us discard our emotional masks and be real before you as well as our family and friends. Father, help us make this holiday season an offering of praise to you. In Jesus' name, amen. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Joining me now is Mike Rizzitiello, City Administrator for the City of College Place. Mike, great to have you on the show.
Great to be here.
It's time for some updates about what's going on in College Place, and who better to talk to us about it than you? We know we had a really fun event recently for College Place. Maybe we could go back just a little bit and talk about the Winterfest Parade.
Yes, the Light Up the Avenue event, that was our fifth year of doing that. This year was our largest parade, about 36 entries. So very popular, good support for local businesses along College Avenue. And then this year we tried out a laser light show.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes, but that was sponsored by Columbia REA because over years we received some complaints about the fireworks, and yeah, that was our first year trying out, and overall it went well.
Very good. Yes, I had other commitments and wasn't actually just able to be on the road for the parade this year, which I'm regretting because it really is a fun event. In past years, sometimes my kids have been playing instruments in one of the floats as it goes by and that sort of thing. It's just a great community event. So we know that that's something you've been spending some time on, but we've got a lot of other really significant projects going on for the city. So talk with us maybe about Lions Park. I know that one's a big one on people's minds.
Yes, that project we've been working on since I first got here about 6 years ago, and now it's finally getting to the point of becoming reality. So that project is going to be a dramatic renovation of that park. It hasn't really received a renovation since it was first created in the late 1960s. The plans have worked through Park Board, City Council, pretty much every advisory commission the city has. And the end result is going to be a splash pad, playground equipment. It'll be a first. It'll be developed for those with disabilities. So there'll be a chime wall, expression, swing, all sorts of neat stuff. Multi-use field, new restrooms, picnic tables, gazebo, better power to support the farmers market, a stage for the entertainment, and then we're dredging the pond. pond. So we're going to replace the sidewalks that are falling into it with a new stream bank. They'll be a lot safer. And then also a quarter-mile walking path around the perimeter of that park. That project is about $5 million, and it's being financed through a large part with grants from Sherwood Trust, State Department of Ecology, State Recreation Conservation Office, and then a variety of other sponsors, going from Wild Horse Foundation, T-Mobile, Lions Club, you name it, even .09 grant from the county and the port. But that project has moved to critical mass where we're finishing up 100% plans now. We believe we'll be able to get this thing out to bid this spring, and construction will be all through next summer, and it should be available for everyone to enjoy by the fall. What that does mean is that the farmers market's going to have to relocate next year just for that year, so likely it'll be moving to Kiwanis Park for that year, but then everything will be back at Lions Park, and it's really going to be a great asset once it's completed.
It sure is, and I have to return to a few of the things that you just mentioned for a little bit more detail. It'll still be called Lions Park. Yes, and Lions, it sounded like, is one of the contributors to the. So you mentioned new restrooms. That just got my attention right away, because ever since the very first time I visited that park when I was a student back in the probably late 1980s, in this area, I have not been a fan of those restrooms. So what's going to happen with the restrooms?
So those restrooms will still exist, but will be renovated to current standards. But then we're also going to be putting in another set of restrooms that will be very similar to ones that exist at Kiwanis Park, where they're the pre-built concrete ones, and that'll be placed in the park. So there will be essentially 4 restroom facilities, and they'll be upgraded to current standards. Isn't going to be how it is right now, with the shower curtains and it being very dimly lit. Yes,
that'll be great. I think everyone will really appreciate having better restroom facilities there.
Yep.
And I got to get some more details about the pond. You said draining the pond. Now, what's going to happen with dredging the pond?
Yeah, dredging. Okay. So about a decade ago, it was dredged. Problem is when we get severe rain events, all sorts of sediment go downstream. And then also, a lot of people don't know this, but the entirety of 12th Street, from Myra Road and 12th all the way at Larch, all drains into that pond and park. So that's a ton of water.
Yes.
And with that, last time it was dredged, they dredged it to where it had 12-foot depth, and then a big rainstorm came, and after that, it filled up with 11 feet of sediment.
So it's only a foot deep now?
Yeah. And so we're actually going to separate the pond from the creek, build essentially a dam that'll control water going in and out of it, and improve water quality. And then we're also putting filters on those outfalls from the neighborhood above the hillside, and they'll improve the water quality.
My neighborhood.
Yep.
I was thinking about our water making its way down to the pond.
Yeah, the current configuration is a big no-no in the eyes of the State Department of Ecology. So we're putting filters in the outfalls, and then also along Larch, there's going to be these Filtera catch basins. They'll filter all the water. There's going to be about 45 of them installed to filter, because that is a ton of storm water coming from 12th Street all the way down
all the way down.
And it'll just make the pond a lot safer, because right now it's a tripping hazard. I'm sure everyone's been out there seeing it.
Yes.
So,
it'll be so much nicer. But we are keeping the pond. Yes, that's really great, because I know that's a popular feature of the park.
It is, and that wasn't necessarily guaranteed, because it comes with a high dollar value.
That was the next thing I was going to say. I'm guessing that that out of that $5 million, there's a significant amount that goes to all of those ecology measures. And
1.6 million of the 5 is directly tied to the pond. So that's why we weren't too sure about the future of it. But luckily, the State Department of Ecology came through, as well as the Sherwood Trust, and between between those two, we were able to protect it, because really the grants, that's how we finance majority of the capital around here, because the taxes and the utility rates alone do not do that. While it does provide the backing where we can go get the grants, because you have to have local match, roughly about 53% or so of our capital plan is financed with grant dollars.
Yes, that tells me that one of your jobs certainly must be writing grants.
Yes.
Yes, a very important job.
Yes, since I've been here, we've gotten about $54 million in grant dollars.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You are you're amazing.
Thanks.
That's incredible.
Thanks.
Yeah, I happen to know from a little dabbling in grant writing I've done that it is not easy.
No.
It's complicated, it's time consuming, and you always want to do a great job of it, hoping you'll raise your chances of receiving the grant. And clearly, you're a good grant writer. So,
Yeah, well, I wouldn't take all credit myself. It's also, we have very talented staff at the city that help with those measures.
Glad to hear it.
And then it's also a community as well, because the big misnomer out there is you can go for these grants without a match. And if it wasn't for a community paying the taxes and utility rates,
Yes.
we wouldn't have the match, and then you couldn't get the grants, because it's not like how it used to be where you could just go get grants and not have any skin in the game.
yeah, they want to make sure that you're part of it.
Yes.
Yeah, skin in the game is a good way to put it.
Yep.
That the community really cares.
Exactly.
So this also speaks to the community here in College Place and around College Place, that we actually do care about our park.
Yeah.
And we want it to be even better.
Exactly.
Yeah, really great. We also have some work going on in the Majania Road area, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, what's going on there?
Yes. So with Majania Road, we ended up getting another grant for about $600,000 from the Metropolitan Planning Organization, and we're actually conducting engineering right now on that. So a couple of years ago, the city annexed that roadway, because all land to the south was annexed as well for future residential and commercial development. With the engineering, that road will be widened to include sidewalks, some lighting, bike path along.
This is huge good news
Yeah.
to me. This is brand new.
Yeah.
I did not know about this. I say to our viewers, I'm asking you about it, and now
Yeah.
I'm just realizing,
Yeah.
wow, that's great.
Yeah, so the improvement will go from College Avenue to a private driveway. It has the name of Blueview Lane, because that's actually the city limits. We can't improve stuff outside the city limits. So that'll be done. We're going to be doing engineering all throughout this upcoming year, and then we do have a federal earmark that'll help with some of the construction costs. However, we are looking for additional grants for construction, because inflation has blown a giant hole in that budget.
Yes.
I thought the earmark would support it fully. It will not. So we're looking for additional funding.
Okay, so you're working on that. So your guess then when that will happen?
I believe construction will occur likely throughout 2024 and 2025. Engineering and public workshops will be all through next year in 2023 for what this thing looks like.
Yeah. This is such great news to me, because I have to tell you, I used to ride my bike on that road. And usually in the summer primarily, and usually early in the morning. And I love to go up on Majania Road with my bike, because the view is so beautiful in the early morning out over the mountains. However, I really just came to the conclusion after a couple of years of doing that I was probably taking my life in my hands to do it, because there's nowhere to get off the road.
No.
So many big trucks go by there. And I actually just kind of made a deal with my husband that I wouldn't do that anymore. That it just probably wasn't a safe place for me to be riding. So this is such good news to me, because I will be able to eventually, ride my bike in one of my favorite places again.
Yep.
Cool. We have just about a minute left. Anything else we need to know about the city?
Yeah, well, I would say for future development projects, just to provide a little overview there, we are working with a developer, Rod Shearer. He's going to be putting roughly a 24-unit apartment complex over at the southwest corner of College Avenue and 8th Street, which is good, because we definitely need additional units of housing here. Also, we're working with a developer. They actually bought some of that land to the south south of Majanier, called College Holdings Lakeside Group, and they're going to be doing a whole smattering of single-family homes over the next decade. And then by next summer, we are expecting a Chipotle to open up over at the old Chase Bank building, adjacent to Del Taco and Panda Express. That's what the renovations going on are now. They'll be one of the first ones with a Chipotle, which is a drive-through, and then they're splitting that building in two, so there'll be another food tenant. We just don't know which
who it'll be yet.
Yeah.
Well, that's great news too.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you came to tell us these updates because as a resident of College Place, it's always fun to find out what's going on. And I know a number of our viewers live in College Place as well, or Walla Walla, and benefit from some of the great things, especially that are happening in the Walmart and across from Walmart in the Meadowbrook area, really benefit from those.
Yep.
All right. Well, Mike, thank you so much for being here to give us these updates.
Welcome. Thanks.
Appreciate it. And stay tuned. I'll be right back with Station News. It's time for Station News. And I'm going to tell you about some very important and special programs that are coming up on Blue Mountain Television. So stay tuned for that in a minute. But first, I really need to tell you about this urgent concern that we have here at the station. The urgent request that we have for you to help us. And I have here with me a little sheet of paper describing what is happening. And it's got pictures on it of water leaks, really bad water leaks and water damage that are taking place at our older facility where all of our equipment still is. So not at the Wallula facility where we are moving, but at the Sunbridge facility in our equipment room. The Sunbridge facility has flat roofs, and during the recent rains and snow, terrible problems have developed with this roof. Now, we're just renters at this facility. It's not our building, and we're not responsible for repairing it, nor can we make that happen. But the leaks are coming in. They are coming in around our equipment. We're having to put plastic over our very expensive and important equipment. And so the need to move this equipment out of the Sunbridge facility and to the Wallula facility has just risen from important to extremely important, urgent that we move it out. And so this is all the master control equipment and all the networking equipment for the broadcast itself. And in order to move it to the new place, there are certain pieces of equipment that have to be purchased in addition to make it work at the facility at Wallula, and to do a few of the things that must be done to this equipment in order to make it function there. And as you know, broadcast equipment is expensive. And so we have very, very carefully and super economically looked at the numbers, fine-tuned them and tried to see every place where we might be able to get discounted pieces of equipment because we're a nonprofit and all of those sorts of things. And our engineers have worked very hard over the last few days so that I could bring a number to you. And we need $213,000 in order to get this equipment out of where it is now and moved over to Wallula. And I don't come to you with this kind of urgent request very often. In fact, I'm not sure I ever have. I've never come to you with a request like this one. This is something that the elements have brought upon us and has happened. And so we're asking for special gifts, and you can mark that gift urgent request or moving the equipment or something like that so that we know that that's what this gift is for. We need $213,000 in order to be able to get this equipment moved very quickly. We're saving it, or trying to save it at least, by putting this plastic over it, but the water is coming in. And I will put some pictures up so that you can see that water damage on the ceiling, on the floor, as it's right there by our equipment. The main office area at Sunbridge is also leaking. We have water buckets that catch the water in the main office area. Unfortunately, there's no equipment right in that spot, but it's coming in multiple places, and it becomes very imperative that we move to this facility at Wallula that God has provided for us, that we got a wonderful deal on 3 years ago, and that we have been moving in small amounts through the COVID pandemic, trying to be over there. And very soon we'll have all of the staff over at the facility at Wallula, and we've made already lovely improvements there, and we need to bring the equipment over as well and really make the broadcast happen from there rather than from the Sunbridge facility. So again, we ask that you either go to BMT.TV to our website to make the gift, or you can send a check to us at our new address, which we'll put on the screen, and I failed to have on my notes right here, but you can send a check there. We'll put that on the screen, and we can definitely take your special donation for this problem and this project. Also want to remind you that the Valley Giving Guide is happening. And that means that your gifts to Blue Mountain Television through the Valley Giving Guide will result in a match, probably a 20% increase on what you give. So to give through the Valley Giving Guide, you simply go to that website, valleygivingguide.org, and then you find the link on there for Blue Mountain Television. You go there, you find Blue Mountain Television, and then you just indicate how much you want to give. You use a credit card to make that payment, and the gift goes in, and then it can be matched for more. You can only use the Valley Giving Guide between now and December 31. So it's really important, if you want to give a gift that way, that you go to the Valley Giving Guide right away and do that. Also, one of the biggest questions that all of us who work and volunteer at Blue Mountain Television have been getting from the community is, when can we see Dee Casper's presentations that he gave at the special event we had at Walla Walla Valley Academy? Well, we just recorded that with one camera, and the audio is separate from the video on that. It's a separate audio recording and a separate video recording, but technology can make them link up, and we're going to be doing that. And we simply don't have enough paid people at Blue Mountain Television to prepare all of the projects that have to be edited. And so I have great news for you. Just today, we asked one of our faithful volunteers, Roman Hintz, if he would help us edit that project, and he will, and he's going to, and we're so delighted, because that means we're going to be able to bring it to you all the sooner. So just know that that's coming very soon, and it's not going to be coming on the broadcast because it's just not broadcast quality, but it will be coming to our YouTube channel. So you will easily be able to go there online and see those very, very important presentations that Dee Casper gave. I know the 150 people or so who were at the live presentations have probably been telling you you've just got to hear them, got to see them, and they're right, and they're really good, and so those will be available soon. Also, wonderful program, Generosity, produced by the students at Walla Walla University. And this is a brand new program coming to the station on December 26th. So it's like a late Christmas present, right? Coming right after, the day after Christmas at 9 p.m. This show is a collaboration between the Center for Media Ministry and the Center for Humanitarian Engagement at Walla Walla University. And it's going to be featuring the kinds of things that students are doing as they interact and serve within the community. It's a documentary style show hosted by David Lopez. And this is it's being edited in a really fun way. There'll always be 2 or 3 stories that you'll be told in each episode about needs in the community and how those needs are being met. So you do not want to miss this first episode of Generosity, coming to Blue Mountain Television December 26th at 9 p.m. And then some additional broadcasts the 29th at 5:30 and at 9 p.m. and also the 31st at 8:30 p.m. So stay tuned for Generosity. And some of you are saying, what about the Christmas programs? I'm not going to list all of those right now. I'm running out of time to do that, but you can go to our website, bmt.tv/Christmas, where you will see a list of all of the special concerts and programs that we are bringing you for this holiday season. So be sure to do that so that you can tune in and see your favorite ones. Well, I again want to remind you about our urgent need with our equipment that is presently in danger of becoming wet in a leaky equipment room, and ask that you will prayerfully consider contributing to the $213,000 that we are in urgent need of in order to move this equipment to the Wallula facility. Thank you for praying about that and making a sacrificial and substantial gift to help this happen very quickly. And also, just want to thank you for tuning in to the show today. You gave your time to us at the ministry, and we hope that you will tell others about Blue Mountain Television and that you'll continue to pray for the work that's being done here. I'll see you next time.